Devon Murrigan in the newsroom, good afternoon to you. Those cancelling their beach holidays won't necessarily get all their money back.
Yeah, certainly not the full amount. It looks like it, Jeremy. So the coastal hotspots are reeling from cancellations and beach closures this festive season. The cost of those cancellations, Jeremy, could amount to hundreds of millions of rands. But I want to look at the other end of this value chain. What are the financial implications and rights of holidaymakers cancelling their beach holidays as a result of those beach closures? Now, Trudy Brookman is a consumer law expert in the Western Cape. She joins us via Zoom. Trudy, thanks very much indeed for your time. Earlier in the year, we understood that bookings cancelled due to legal restrictions determined by government would need to be fully refunded by suppliers. Now, you've obviously had a few inquiries from people who cancelled beach holidays due to restrictions and expect a refund in full. What does the law say?
Devon, there are really two situations where the cancellation is due to a direct prohibition that's been issued by government. There, the cancellation, no cancellation fee can be charged, and the full ticket price, for example, has to be returned to the consumer, to the member of the public who's bought the ticket or arranged for the travel. If it's a question of deciding that you don't want to go to the beach anymore because you can't get onto the beaches, or as a result of the curfew or something like that, and it's a discretionary thing for the consumer, there the suppliers are entitled to charge a cancellation fee. So consumers are entitled to cancel. You can cancel for sure, that's what the Consumer Protection Act says. But the supplier can charge a hefty cancellation penalty if you're cancelling at the last moment and they have a tiny chance of replacing you as a tenant, for example, in their holiday accommodation. So the cancellation penalty isn't allowed to be 100%, but I would estimate that it could go up to maybe 80%. So really one needs to think twice before cancelling. If it's not a cancellation that's based on your being hospitalized or having passed on as a result of illness.
Trudy, the key issue here, I would imagine, is the fact that because beaches are restricted or closed in some cases, doesn't necessarily mean that the establishment is closing. So I would imagine that's the argument of the establishments, that they need not fully refund you because it's your choice not to come on holiday because you have less time to spend on the beach, for example.
Correct. Devon, the owner of the establishment needs to look at four factors when regarding whether they're going to be paying back your full deposit, whether they're going to be deducting a cancellation penalty. And the factors are: what's the industry practice? What is the likelihood of them getting a replacement at this very late stage? What is the length of notice that the consumer has given them, and what's the nature of the goods or services? To my mind, generally speaking, all of those are going to indicate that the supplier is entitled to charge a fairly substantial cancellation fee.
I want to talk about events now that consumers may have booked but have now cancelled because of the new restrictions around, let's say, gatherings, for example. Presumably, that's more challenging to get full refunds as far as that front is concerned. Actually,
no. My view is that the supplier is breaching the contract with the consumer, of course, innocently, and they do need to comply with the law. But there, the consumer is entitled to a full refund. And my view is that is, even though there might be terms and conditions to the contrary, the Consumer Protection Act says that if the supplier cancels on you because they can't, provide the event because the curfew is too early, the event would have run over, or the event would have happened on a beach, or maybe it involved drinking in a public place, and they now have to cancel, then you are entitled to your full ticket price back as a consumer.
Trudy, I've got a couple of seconds left. Who does one go to if they feel somewhat disadvantaged over a dispute in that regard, either a holiday establishment or a ticket being purchased?
There are a few options. Of course, you can see a consumer lawyer. But there are a few free options as well, and the one is the Consumer Goods and Services Ombudsman. They provide an excellent service, and that's for free, as well as the National Consumer Commission. You can find both of those on the internet, and you can fill out an online complaint form, send that off, and these consumer bodies should be fighting in your corner.
Trudy Brookman, consumer law expert and attorney, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.